analytical processes and then disseminating it is a policing strategy too. So we say when both of them, when the community policing strategy and the intelligence gathering strategy is put together, it enhances the control of crime and also provide an overall improvement in safety and security and well-being of the society. So I will delve into community policing now. You know, there are two subtopics. There's a community policing subtopic, and there's also an intelligence gathering subtopic. And I think the framers of this topic, the framers of this program, were very intentional, knowing your role as brigade members of WAI, knowing your role in the community. Your role is to ensure discipline in the community. You are in most of this community, so you have a very critical role to play in terms of community policing as well as intelligence generation or intelligence gathering. There are two diverse strategies of policing that have been talked about. And at the end of my lecture, as a WAI Brigade member, you are supposed to now know your role as a community policing agent, as well as your role as an intelligence generation agent, to help yourself, to help your organization, as also to help your society where you live. So I'm going to be looking briefly into the strategy of community policing. I'm going to be looking at the characteristics, what forms community policing, the benefit of community policing to the society, the challenges of community policing. We're also going to be looking at intelligence gathering, the processes of intelligence gathering, the importance of intelligence gathering, as well as the challenges as well. And then we'll now come into you as the WAI Brigade, where your role lies in these two concepts. So community, I will go straight into defining what the community is. The community is a group of people living in the same place and having particular characteristics. So you have a group of people living in a particular. This place now is a community because we have a group of persons living here, and we have a particular characteristics in that we are all members of the WAI Brigade that have our core values as instilling discipline. So meaning that as we are coming to a community, taking it back to where we live, each and every one of us also comes from a place, and they have the characteristics of the whether you are from there, you are a native of that place, it's a community. Whether it's a place where you just live, you are resident at, that place is also your community. So that is what simply put a community is. Okay, another definition is that a community is a condition of sharing and having certain attitudes, certain interests in common. When we have certain group of people that share attitudes, that share interests in common, they can be called a community. And then the concept of community is expressed as an observable and perceived mutual acceptance among a group of people living together, meaning that a group of people have to accept intentionally to live together. They have to be intentional about their being together, having a common purpose, and then the process of their existence within that their environment. So we also look at the definition of policing. Policing is the maintenance of law and order by either a police force or a group of security organizations. When the interest of any organization is in ensuring that there is maintenance of law and order, it is termed policing. And then policing is also a set of activities that is aimed at preserving the security of a particular social order. It is a set of activities aimed at preserving security in a particular area. So when there is a set of activities like doing patrol, doing stop and search, an intentional activity with the core aim to ensure safety and security and preserve a social order, preserve the order in the place. We will term it as policing. So the key principles of policing, the key principles of community policing. Okay, let me define community policing. We have taken community, we have taken policing. So let's define what community policing is. Community policing entails proactive, problem-solving approaches to policing, fostering collaboration between law enforcement agencies and the community. You understand? Are you with me? Yes, sir. So where there is a proactive, problem-solving approach, you are having an approach that aims at solving a security challenge in a place, and then you are relating with the community to avert any security challenge. It is termed a community policing strategy. So there are key principles that are involved in community policing. That is key major characteristics of community policing. Number one is partnership. The community partnering with a law enforcement agency, either a police organization, a civil defense organization, whichever, as far as the aim of that partnership is to ensure maintenance of law and order, it is termed community policing. Another characteristics of community policing is problem solving. Now, this partnership is not about come and feast. It's not about come and dance. It's not a social organization. This partnership is aimed at solving the problem of the community using the law enforcement agencies that are government organizations. And then in policing, what is key is maintenance of law and order and safety of the persons, safety of the community is what is relevant in policing. So the concept of problem solving for community policing entails that have a partnership between the community and the law enforcement agency. There is a goal which is in ensuring maintaining order in the community. And so when they come together, they begin to identify the problems of security in the community. They begin to now identify and strategize on the modalities to avert and solve the problems and the challenges that they have. And then also there's the third characteristic is decentralization. Decentralization, which means the police or law enforcement agency is not just left alone. The issue of crime fighting, the issue of maintaining law and order is not just left to the police. It is decentralized. The community has its role and the police also has its role. So that is, those are the three major principles of community policing. So we'll also be looking at the benefits of community policing. One of the benefits of community policing is that it ensures an increased public trust. In the sense that the community is now involved fully in the policing of their area. That means there's not a trust, there's a confidence. You will develop confidence from working together with the law enforcement agency. There will be an improved public trust. The members of the public will have trust in the activities of policing in that area. They say when community members feel heard, because in the course of this partnership, your opinions will be heard, your views will be seen and heard, and you will be involved in decision making that involves fighting crime around your environment. It now gives you the confidence to trust the system, and then there's an increased public trust. Also, the crime rate, there's a reduced crime rate. That means in a place where community policing strategy is fully implemented and well practiced, crime rates in such environments are usually reduced. So working together between the community and police can easily identify certain crimes and places that are prone to crimes and people that constitute the crime activities in the area. And when these things are identified, it is easy to reduce menace of crime in that area. Also, there's improved quality of life. Once there's safety in a place, once there's security in a place, automatically the quality of life in that area will improve. The rate of ease of doing business in that area will improve. The social activities in that area will improve. And also the economic activities in that area will also improve. So those are the advantages of community policing. Community policing is not without its own challenges. There are challenges that face the effective utilization of community policing strategy. As we all know, there is no challenge. Every situation in life has its own challenges. So community policing also has a few identified challenges, even though these are not exhaustive, but we have a few that have been identified. One of which is sustaining the partnership. There's a challenge of maintaining that cordial relationship, that partnership between the community and the police or any law enforcement agency, which is also, it's not just the community policing that suffers this. Even friendship, family also suffers this particular challenge. So there's a challenge of sustaining partnership between the police and law enforcement agencies, and members of the community. So maintaining community engagement over a long time requires ongoing effort and resources. Resources to maintain that cordial partnership. Resources, time, a lot is involved. So this is one of the challenges of community policing. Also, building trust. Overcoming historical mistrust between the community and law enforcement agencies can be a significant challenge. What it means is that to even kickstart this relationship, because of historical history of maybe betrayal, history of challenges, history in terms of certain relationship, is also difficult to build this trust. And community policing without trust cannot work. The community has to have the trust of the police that if they volunteer information to the police is going to utilize that information. The community also wants to have that source protection, that yes, even in the course of fighting this security challenge, the source, the person, the people, the community that volunteered this information, their identity has to be preserved and protected. These are areas where we would have challenged issue of trust, building trust. Over a long history, some people have found that over a long history, some people have had challenges of revealing certain information to certain law enforcement agencies and their identities being exposed. So it is difficult for some persons having this bias now to now be fully involved in partnering with security agencies to make community policing work. Also, there's potential overreach. They say there's potential for overreach. That means community policing initiative can sometimes lead to excessive surveillance or profiling if not carefully implemented. So if community policing is not well implemented, there's a chance that it will be done in excess, it will be done overboard. There will be excessive surveillance. Everybody will be involved in the community policing, no strict rules and pattern of doing things that will now be a challenge in ensuring that community policing works. So that is all I have about community policing. Basically, from what I've talked about, you have known that community policing has to do with partnership with law enforcement agency for the sole aim of ensuring that the community is safe. For the sole aim of ensuring that the community is safe and the community is involved in the policing of the environment. The people should know better how they want to persist. The people should know better their security challenge, and if they are not willing to cooperate with law enforcement agencies, there may be little or nothing, irrespective of expertise, that the law enforcement agency can do without the involvement of the community. So we'll be looking at intelligence gathering now. Intelligence gathering, what is intelligence? What is intelligence? Intelligence is basically an information that has been tested and trusted to be very correct. When we say intelligence, in the real and true sense of intelligence, when there is an intelligence, it means the information from that intelligence are factual. So intelligence simply means an information that has been collected, that has been analyzed, that has been collected, collated, analyzed, and disseminated for, in this sense, security purpose. But intelligence can come in any aspect of endeavor. In business sense, we can generate intelligence in business sense, in every facet, in banking, in business, in every aspect of life, intelligence can come in. But the intelligence we are looking at here, is intelligence as it concerns security activities. So intelligence is connecting, analyzing, and disseminating information to inform law enforcement decision making. Intelligence-led policing is what is even being canvassed now as the way to go. Intelligence-leading police operation is the best and trusted format of police operation. What it means is before police operates, or before a law enforcement operates, there needs to be an intelligence that propels their operation and their activity. That is what intelligence means, and it all involves information. Now, what is information? Information is any piece of data, any piece of idea, any piece that can be collected for use is information. Any data you collect to use it is information. And then when this information, no matter where it is from, has been collected from different sources, put together, collated, analyzed, and then the intelligence value from that information is collected. It's like a sieve. When we sieve something, remove the shaft from the value. So when you collect information from different sources, this information are put together, the shafts of this information are separated, the value of it is collected. The value from that collected information is what is principally in intelligence. So we can have intelligence on a crime, we can have intelligence on a person, we can have intelligence on an activity of persons. So when we intentionally go out for gathering intelligence now, is what we now call intelligence gathering. So it means information will have been collected on different subject matters. Intelligence will have been generated from those information on different subject matters. And then when all these intelligence are brought together, that is what is principally what is called intelligence gathering. Now, as WAI Brigade members, you can be in certain communities, you can be seeing something, you can see something that's unusual. You have to be very proactive. When you see something, you read meaning into those things you see. You look at the possibilities, the advantages of what you have seen, the disadvantages of what you have seen. When you marry these informations together, you begin to sieve out what is the shaft from it and what is the value from it. In that case, when you dispatch or disseminate that information to your immediate superior, you would have generated an intelligence that can save your community or your society from something that can be harmful. So intelligence gathering, in a nutshell, is a system through which information about a particular entity is collected for the benefit of another through the use of more than one interrelated sources. It is a system where informations are collected about a particular entity for the benefit of another, and through the use of more than one interrelated sources. Now, collecting information on a particular entity. So let's take a look at crime now. Let's assume in this environment now, the prevalent crime, let's assume without considering, is let's say robbery, or let's say stealing, for example. So when we now look at stealing as a particular entity, now what do we intend as a security organization to achieve with stealing? It is to help to prevent stealing. It is to help to arrest the people perpetrators of that act. So what do we look at in terms of the intelligence that can assist us? Now this is our objective as a security organization, is to avert further incidents of stealing. That is one. Number two is also to apprehend the offenders, people who are perpetrating those acts. It's also an objective. So what do we set out to do? We now set out, from this other point, to say the benefit of what we intend to achieve is for the community to be safe, is for the community to be secure, and it's for each and every one of us to have the benefit of the use of our property, having ownership of our property, taking possession of our property. That is what we seek to achieve. So now, when we now use interrelated sources to get information that can help us achieve our aim, it means we are about we are about intelligence gathering. In this sense, in the scenario we are painting, when we begin to now commission vigilantes to do surveillance at night, what are they surveying? Because of their surveying, they watch the movement of people around. When they watch a movement of people around, they see something, they observe, they see movements that are unusual, they see movement of items that are unusual, they put questions, and then they come back with certain information, back to the community, back to their organization, and intelligence will be drawn out of the information that will have been collected from the different areas. Maybe it is where they sell those items, somebody who is very observant, looking at what is happening there, and sees that those trades going on there are unusual. Some other person may not take it, may not see the seriousness in it. But there are intelligence value in those activities. For somebody who is very proactive, he picks an intelligence item from it, reports back. Now, vigilante has done their own. An ordinary member of the society that has seen a transaction going on, that suspects something too, has also seen an intelligence value in that transaction, and is also bringing out intelligence from that transaction. One or two pieces or one or two sources, you see that when these things are put together by a forum, you can generate an intelligence that can help you arrest the people who are perpetrating the crime, arrest the people who are fueling the crime by being ready buyers of the stolen item. And also, once the people involved now know that if you try to do such, either vigilante will see you, either where you go to sell those things, you will be identified. From there, you will see that that crime in that environment will be tamed. So that is that as to intelligence and intelligence gathering. So we're looking at the principles of intelligence gathering. Number one principle is data collection. Data are pieces of information. You collect pieces of information from different sources, whether they are relevant or not. Or once they are related to a particular subject matter, you just gather it and send to a central analytical department of formation, which will analyze those data, which will also, in analyzing the data, there's what is called trend and pattern analysis. They observe certain trends from all the information that have been brought. They observe the patterns from all the information that has been brought, and then they identify the threats that lies within that information that has been brought out. So with that, you will see that it is a process and part of the principle for intelligence gathering. So we have analysis, we have data collection, and then dissemination is also very key and very key in intelligence generation and practice. Once you collect this information, yes, beautiful information, beautiful intelligence, if you keep it within yourself, it is as good as nothing. So there is need for dissemination. Dissemination to your immediate supervisor, dissemination to your immediate commander, who will in turn disseminate it to appropriate security agencies for actions to be taken. So when you have a very good and useful intelligence and you keep it within yourself, it is no longer an intelligence. It is no longer an intelligence. In the practice of intelligence, there's what we call a timely dissemination of intelligence. The intelligence that you have, if it is not properly and timely disseminated, can be a serious harm to a community. You see, identify invaders coming in the name of very help people to the community. Maybe you see some of them with something you suspect to be harm, and you keep quiet. That's an intelligence. You keep quiet. You do not escalate this information to law enforcement, to your commanders that can get the appropriate law enforcement involved. Before you know it, whether your suspicion is right or wrong, when you see something suspicious, there is need for you to disseminate that information as quick and prompt as possible, because the more harm, it will be more harm. You saw the thing, you did not escalate, and the harm now comes to the society. There's a difference between it, and when you see it, you disseminate, and that thing is nipped in the bud. That threat can be addressed before it becomes a problem, before it escalates and leads to loss of life and property. So that's another very key principle of intelligence. It's a sharing intelligence with relevant enforcement agencies and community partners. Partnership is very key. So we'll be looking at the benefits of intelligence gathering. Number one is targeted enforcement. When you have gathered relevant intelligence about a thing, it helps enforcement to be targeted. When a crime is committed and there's no intelligence about that crime, the perpetrators, the actors of that crime, everybody goes about a wild goose chase, chasing after nothing. But when there is an intelligence, it makes a because the of the reason why that happened, the people the person that committed it, or go straight into the place where that thing is happening. We can't just say crime is happening in the whole of LMN local government. There's crime in the LMN local government. That is not sufficiently intelligent. But once there is intelligence about it, you now know if it is in Ogale, or it is in Ebubu, or One in the LMN local government that this crime is prevalent. Intelligence will also show you who are the particular people involved in this particular crime. That's an advantage and benefit of intelligence gathering. Intelligence gathering also helps in proactive crime prevention. What this means is that once there's intelligence, you can nip crime in the bud even before they happen. At the point of planning, you can dissolve, you can arrest a syndicate planning to cause mayhem in a society just by having prompt and adequate intelligence. Another advantage of intelligence gathering is that it helps to improve resource allocation. You can now allocate your resources appropriately. If you know that in Ebubu, social crime is what is prevalent, in Ogale, social crime is what is made. Let's say Ogale is traffic offenses that are situated in Ogale. Ebubu, let's say it is Ebubu, let's say it is maybe kidnapping that is prevalent in that place. This other place, maybe it's child trafficking that is prevalent. You can now harness your resources together. In the place where it is mainly crime, it is mainly, can we have one house, please? In a place where there is traffic offenses, you can now channel your traffic resources, traffic personnel, towards going to address a particular issue that has to do with traffic. You cannot take your tactical team or your combat operational team to the other area that has to do with kidnapping activities. You will now manage your resources, human, material resources, promptly and rightly in addressing challenges. So that is one of the key functions of intelligence. So we'll look at the challenges. We'll look at the challenges of intelligence gathering. One of the challenges of intelligence gathering is accuracy and reliability of information. One of the major challenges in the field of intelligence gathering is that a lot of people come with doctored information for pecuniary interest, either to get funds of law enforcement agencies or to get bias from law enforcement agencies. You may have a problem with a particular person, you just go and concoct lies about that person to send to law enforcement agencies to act. So reliability and accuracy of information sometimes can be a challenge in intelligence gathering. We also have the challenge of data privacy, concern. We have challenge of data privacy in that collecting certain information, personal information, can be a challenge. In getting certain personal information, you may breach privacy of persons. It is also a challenge in intelligence generation. There is also overload of information, certain people bringing plenty, numerous information from different sources. The time in managing and analyzing those information can be a challenge to speedy extraction of intelligence from those high level and cluster of information that comes. There's also security risk. There are locations where you need to get to get certain information. There might be serious security risk to even access those places. Like maybe where we have kidnappers then, ritualists then, camp of certain cult groups. It may be a risk for certain person to have access to those places. Those can be challenges to effective intelligence gathering. Also, source protection. The protection of the person who brings this information is also a challenge in effective intelligence generation. That is the possibility of exposure to the members of the society, to even the adversary, getting to know who and who is the particular person that gave this information that led to the fighting of that particular crime, can also be a challenge in the field of intelligence generation. So, we have seen what community policing means. We have also seen what intelligence gathering means. We have also seen you can decipher how they are interrelated. There's no how you can have effective community policing without intelligence gathering. There's also no way you can gather effectively intelligence without reaching out to the community. So they are related, interrelated. You understand? They are like two sides of the same coin. So so this subheading deals with integration of community policing and intelligence gathering. Now, number one, we look at community-sourced intelligence, meaning that community members can now be a valuable source of getting information about local crime, about crime trends, about potential threats, about what is prevalent, what is now the trend. You know, crime too has a trend, just as we have a trend in the society of things coming to, we say this thing is raining now, it is so hairstyle that is in vogue. Even crime too have trends. At a certain time of the year, you know, this is the particular crime that usually happens at a certain period of time. During Ember month, you know that previously we used to know the kind of crime we expect during Ember month, because people are all about looking for means and ways to acquire finances, to have a fruitful and a loud Christmas celebration. In those days, we used to know that robbery is prevalent during those, bank robbery is usually prevalent during those periods. Once it just gets to Ember month, you will know certain. So even crime has a trend. So community now can now look at this trend. What is now this trend pattern, this trend in this community that is posing threat to our peaceful coexistence in this area? You understand? Community will now develop a means of now sourcing, generating intelligence about certain crimes, certain threats, and trend and potential threats within the community. Also, there's also a community-based crime prevention, which we have, from community level, been able to generate intelligence. From that level, you will also be preventing crime in that environment. The incidences of crime and criminality happening in that society will be reduced, because the community now is now involved in generating this intelligence. And even the criminals too, they are also sensitive. They now know that the community now has now taken responsibility for their own safety. So this community is no longer safe for us to perpetrate their acts. And that's why you can see in certain areas, it is difficult for certain crime to happen in that area. It is not magic. The people have also realized their role in having a safe society, and have stepped into that responsibility and have been able to generate information and intelligence that has assisted them in having that. Also, there is a joint analysis and planning. Joint analysis within the community and law enforcement agency. You will now jointly plan. You will jointly analyze the information. You have a one-on-one with your divisional police officer, a one-on-one with your local police outpost, a one-on-one with your area command stakeholders to discuss issues of community as it bothers your society. Because you are the one living in the society, you are the one seeing these things happen, you are the one living even in the midst of people who perpetrate this crime. You can now have an informed decision, have an informed, have an avenue to also have your voice heard once this intelligence gathering and community policing strategy are practiced in that area. So now, this aspect we'll go into now is now as it concerns you now as a war against indiscipline brigade, WAI Brigade member. They say the WAI War Against Indiscipline Brigade is a voluntary organization that emphasizes on discipline, ensuring that there's discipline and there's order in the society. I guess that's what your organization is about. Yes, so that, and it is a voluntary organization that ensures and emphasizes on discipline. So your organization can play a significant role in community policing and intelligence generation and gathering in Nigeria, particularly in the aspects that concerns fight against violent crime and other security concerns. When we say violent crime, it means crime that can cause serious bodily harm to people, that can be very violent and serious, that can cause physical assault to people. That's what is called violent crime. Robbery, kidnapping, rape, they are violent crimes. Your organization has a key role to play in this fight. You live in different communities, carrying out your work as volunteers in different communities. You see these things happen. You understand? You are also in that place to maintain order. To maintain order by virtue of the discipline you seek to instill. You are discipline and order. They go hand in hand. You can't take away order if there's no discipline. You can't say there's order when there's no discipline. So they go hand in hand. So your organization helps to instill order and discipline in the society. So you can contribute adequately in curbing crime by supporting the police and other law enforcement agencies through the use of community policing strategy and intelligence generation. Can help a great deal in solving the gap that we have, security gaps that we have in driving the community policing strategy home. You can assist. You are in the midst of the community. You have a role as you are instilling discipline in the community. The people trust you. The people know you for certain features and characteristics. They know that a WAI Brigade member is somebody who is disciplined, who maintains order. So when you speak to the community has a respect and has a value for you as a brigade member. So you can take advantage of your future and characteristics to assist in having that community safe and secure. You won't say my role is not to arrest criminals, my role is not to arrest a kidnapper, my role is not to give information to the police. But if that place where you do your work is not safe enough, will you be there instilling discipline and order? The place has to first be safe before you can even first of all have your activity done properly. You know, that's the issue that we have in the country. A lot of communities have not owned up to the responsibility of ensuring that their place is safe. They don't see their role as being very critical in ensuring that their place is safe. There's a huge gap and difference between proximity-wise between where your division is and this place we are in. So if you say the role of preserving and maintaining law and order is left to the police, if something happens here before the police from the division comes to this place, how would have been done in the community if there's no cordial relationship or the community first owning up to the responsibility of ensuring that their space is safe first of all, and then getting the necessary government agencies to come and then do their own part. But first of all, the community has to do its own part, and your organization plays a key role because you are resident, you are based, you are in the midst of the people, so you have a very key role to play. Your brigade, in your focus to instill discipline as a WAI Brigade, you can also focus in maintaining order. You can also focus in identifying potential security breaches at the grassroots level and also report such incidents to appropriate authorities, especially the police. Why the police is mentioned a lot of times that the police is the major. The police is the major and lead agency as it has to do with internal security. All other security agencies, when it comes to internal security, the police is the lead agency. Any other thing anybody does is to support the effort of the police. So that's why the police is mentioned, and the police is nearest to the people. Police is almost in every local government, is almost in every place. So that's why the police is being mentioned first, because we have the constitutional authority, the constitutional backing to maintain law and order in the land. So what is your role as a WAI Brigade member in ensuring that community policing strategies and intelligence generation strategies is placed? Number one, your role in community policing. Number one, the WAI Brigade, you operate at the grassroots level. So you can leverage on that, your understanding of the local communities, your understanding of the persons living in the local community to foster a sense of order and a sense of security in such communities. Number two, in terms of intelligence gathering, you can actively, by virtue of your role, you can actively collect, analyze information about potential security threats and suspicious activities and criminal elements within the communities. By virtue of your position in the community, you can actually do intelligence gathering effectively and efficiently. Number 3, in terms of reporting, your brigade can promptly disseminate any such information gathered and report any security breaches and suspicious activities to the nearest police division or relevant security agencies so that we can ensure a swift response and ensure that such threats and potential threats are nipped in the bud. There is also collaboration. Your organization can collaborate with other government agencies outside security agencies. You can collaborate with National Orientation Agency. You can collaborate with community leaders. You can collaborate with civil societies and even private businesses to enhance effective policing and intelligence generation in communities. Also, in the area of awareness, your organization can help instill the awareness of community policing in the communities where you live by letting them know the need for them to be involved in the issue of security, by letting them know their role and responsibility. When they see something, they should say something. Letting them know that keeping quiet is not the way to go if they want to live in a peaceful society. They say the brigade can also play a critical role in raising awareness about security trend. You can tell the people, this is the current security trend. This is the current security trend. This is what you need to do to avoid being a prey to the perpetrators of this security concern. You can also let them know, these are the things you can look out for. To know that this thing coming to you is an issue. This is how you can avoid it being an issue for you. You can also, apart from a security trend, you can also let them know government policies and programs within the communities that you operate. It is also a role that you have to play in ensuring effective community policing. Also, this is even a very fundamental role by your objective as an organization, discipline, and other. This other one talks about discipline and other areas. I don't need to say more about it. That is what your organization is primarily known for. The WAI Brigade, whose aim is to instill discipline and orderliness within communities, can contribute to a safer environment through noble initiatives. So thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.